If true, this changes everything for the Minnesota Wild, as recent report from Frank Seravalli has dropped saying Kirill Kaprizov has declined the biggest contract in NHL history. We're going to be breaking it down, going over what this means for the Minnesota Wild, as well as multiple other reports coming out from very credible reporters. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to break down today as things are heating up on the Kirill Kaprizov market side of things, and things seem to be not going in the direction that the Minnesota Wild would like. Before we do jump into this video, though, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already, and you're trying to stay up to date with all of your Minnesota Wild news. We have a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to be breaking it all down here on the channel. We also know just over 90% of you guys watching right now have not done so already, so be sure to do so if you're keeping up with all of the news. But we need to jump straight into this because Frank Seravalli has dropped a major update today, and we're going to jump into some conflicting reports where some have been shut down, but also some more updates on this topic. But Frank Seravalli tweeted this out earlier. Sources say the Minnesota Wild superstar Kirill Kaprizov's camp turned down an extension offer to believed to be 8 years, $128 million in a meeting on Tuesday in Minnesota. That would have made him the highest paid player in NHL history in both AAV, $16 million, and total dollars. Now, this is a significant update from what we've last heard from Kirill Kaprizov and his camp. Now, immediately taking a look at this and where things stand on this side of things, obviously we knew that Kirill Kaprizov would be earning a contract at quite the high price, and we've seen upwards of $15 million be in talks with this Wild team and the possibility of signing him. Now, there are multiple things that I think contribute to declining this deal, and some just so happen to be part of, a business side of things. I don't think there's anything here that made Kirill Kaprizov decline it because he is the highest paid or wants more. In my opinion, there has to be something, whether it is too high of a term, more so looking at a 5-year deal at most maybe, to get the most money possible out of his deal, or coming into it, there may have been some part of the contract which he didn't like, whether it was, a no trade clause, a no move clause, something along the lines of that. I do not think this is based solely on price. I want to just put this out there first because, that would be genuinely ridiculous. I don't think any other team would be willing to pay more than that or would be, open to doing that when you're taking a look at his projected contract by AFP Analytics. They have him at just over $14 million for 8 years, and, there's no doubt he would be the highest paid if this contract does come first. The question is whether or not he's also waiting for Connor McDavid to get his contract and see where things go. But when you're taking a look at that, that may take a long time, as we know that Connor McDavid and the side of the Edmonton Oilers don't really seem to be in the right space right now. But when you're coming into this contract, and taking a look at how the Wild could kind of make this work, I certainly think Kirill Kaprizov is taking a look at this and saying, hey, we have quite a bit of cap space coming over the next few years. Even coming into next year, we have 39 total. That is going to be taken off of Kirill's contract currently as well. But you throw a $16 million deal on that, then go to the future. This Wild team is going to have quite a bit of money to be able to spend as the cap space, is continuing to rise significantly over the next couple of years, and I think Kirill knows that as well. So I'm not taking this as a full negative. I'm still taking this right now as at least just something on the internal side of the contract that, not necessarily saying I don't want to be here. It's more so that, hey, we're taking a look at this. There's probably a better option for us right now to do this specific thing. So take that right now with a kind of grain of salt, because I still think that that's what it's going to be. I don't know. I'm not an insider, but that is what I'm seeing a lot of and what I personally think as well. Now, going into today's updates as well, Michael Russo and Joe Smith had an article come out from The Athletic, and this is what was said here on this side of things. Wild President of Hockey Operations and General Manager Bill Guerin declined to comment on the report, asked whether the report, if true, could mean Kaprizov won't sign an extension or instead wants to negotiate a shorter-term deal. Guerin also would not comment to The Athletic. I think this one thing first is a smart thing from Bill Guerin. Keep your contract negotiations under closed doors, behind closed doors, under wraps. You don't want to kind of spoil anything that is coming. I think they're working on things, and from what we've been hearing, that Kirill Kaprizov obviously does want to stay in Minnesota. He says he's excited to play here, and everything going along the lines of that. really, to me, don't say that I'm declining every contract that I'm given. So there has to be something that's giving right now, but we just don't know on this front yet. Now, also taking a look at the top contracts currently in the NHL, you're taking a look at this list right now. Austin Matthews currently the highest at $13 million. You're getting paid over $3 million than that. I don't think Kirill Kaprizov is taking a look at this and saying, yeah, I want more. And I think this just kind of adds to it as well, knowing that you see McDavid here, you see Nathan MacKinnon, you see Austin Matthews, some of the best players in the NHL among this list, with McDavid getting a new contract coming up as well here soon. Things are going to be kind of working, I think, on a day-by-day basis at this point. Now, also coming into it, there has been this report that dropped from Rob Reinhart saying, breaking, Kirill Kaprizov's camp did not turn down an extension offer for 8 years, $128 million in a meeting with the Wild on Tuesday, per multiple sources. I'm told negotiations are ongoing and that no monetary value has been presented, nor has Kirill Kaprizov or his camp met with the Wild about a future contract. A source told me that the story is completely fabricated, a fairy tale. Now, with all of this coming out, and this really came out, about 10 minutes after the initial Frank Seravalli report, I was waiting for a guy like Michael Russo, Joe Smith to shut this down. However, as you saw previously, they came out here and wrote this article on The Athletic and did not decline it whatsoever. So this, to me, I'm really in the middle of nowhere. I've gotten conflicting reports, and I feel like we're taking a look at this as something that, is no matter what going to happen, but I just don't see where that makes sense on this side of things. But going back to this article, Joe Smith and Michael Russo put this about, and this was kind of the last thing that Craig Leopold said. He said, I just feel like that we're not far off. He said that last week. I kind of think we're there. I like to believe that Kirill comes over and gets the sense again for the excitement and love of the city. I think we'll be good moving forward, or we'll be moving forward in a good direction, excuse me. So, Craig Leopold, even last week, had that positivity that he had coming into it, and Kirill Kaprizov, we can't forget, saying that he wants to stay here and taking a look at everything. And this was his last public comment with the teams at the end of the season. Said, we'll see. I love everything here. It should be all good. Asked when the important to him with the decision, he said, it's always, every time, it's about winning. Everyone wants to win. Me too. And whether or not Kirill Kaprizov don't think this team can win, I think that, the additions that were made here in the offseason, definitely interesting, but certainly will work out now that we have Marco Rossi back and having all of this stuff kind of lining up to be, once again, another solid team. So, questions are there as to what the whole idea is behind this, and as you saw here, taking a look at the top players currently in the NHL's contract based on cap hit, there's a lot of players here that are going to be in a different situation heading into next year on the on the UFA side of things. So the top UFAs, Kirill Kaprizov's there at 9, McDavid's there at, 1 and 2 is Panarin. I think that there's 3 contracts right there that are going to be some of the highest in the NHL. So I think right now we're on a bit of a waiting game. I don't think there's much else we can really take a look at. I don't think there's much else we can do until we hear some stuff come out, whether or not this is legitimately a declined contract. We don't know where Frank Seravalli got this right now, but as of right now, there's conflicting reports that, we're in here. We didn't see any contract negotiations happen just yet. And of course, he only did return from Moscow recently. But the questions are still there as to what is going on. And I'm going to keep you guys updated with all of this because this is some major news that we have to cover and take a look at every single moment of the day. So I'm going to have all your updates here for you guys. But that's all I got here in this one. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the news that we have here today. But like I said, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.